I like South Park. I go through ebbs and flows of when I watch it, but I always love it. I saw a clip that there was this new episode, so naturally I'm like, let's fucking go, baby. South Park is back. And on this particular episode, Cartman gets sold pubes by an older kid because he doesn't realize that when he gets older, he's going to grow them himself. So he thinks he's like one-upping the boys, like, hey, dogs, I got pubes now, boom, in your face. And I'm watching the episode with a couple of people who don't really watch South Park like that. They don't get it like we get it. So as the episode progresses and Cartman finds out from the boys, this ain't how it goes. You gotta get your money back, Cartman. Cartman rolls up to this kid, Scott Tenorman, and he's like, excuse me, give me back my money. You sold me pubes and I don't need these pubes and you're a pube scam artist. And of course, the episode isn't going to progress if this kid, Scott Tenorman, gives him the money back. So there's a back and forth between the two boys the whole episode. Pranks and one-upping, etc., etc. About 12 minutes in, I get a look. And the look is like, bitch, what are we watching? Are these cartoon children arguing about pubes? A pubic hair transaction? Like, what is happening? And here's where I get mad, because internally, I'm like, oh, you idiot. Do you even know or get the genius of South Park? Of how topical it is. They are comedy mapping right in front of your little simple eyes. That's when I say, you don't get it, do you? They're commenting on the Kendrick and Drake beef in real time. That's what this episode is about. Now, boom, this person is on board. Oh, okay, really? I didn't realize. Damn, this show moves fast. Yeah, buddy, it's South Park. It hasn't been on the air this long because it doesn't move fast. They're brilliant. Now he's invested. The next day, I'm at a birthday party with some friends and some people I don't really know, and I get a survey of the crowd. No shocker. They're all South Park fans. These are wise people I'm hanging out with. So I tell them the story, the one I'm telling you right now. I'm expecting everyone to be like, damn, you're so wise, putting people on who don't get it to the South Park train. If they gave awards for that, you'd win that one. But instead, my friend says, wait, the Scott Tenorman episode?
Yes, that's what I said, dumbass. Keep the fuck up, doggy.
Rock, that episode came out like 20 years ago. 20 what now? That episode isn't about Kendrick and Drake. That episode is 20 years old.
You guys.
What? Yeah, it's from like season 5 or 6. One of the people at the table that didn't really know me and that I didn't really know said, oh my God, that's so funny. You gotta write that down and tell somebody. So now I'm doubly humbled because not only does this man think I don't know South Park, which I didn't, he doesn't know I'm a famous podcaster where I would be doing exactly that. South Park is on its 26th season. And the episode we're talking about, entitled Scott Tenorman Must Die, is from season 5, episode 4 on July 11th, 2021. Billie Eilish wasn't even alive yet. But wow. That is a testament to South Park and their writing. They had me, an inconsistent South Park watcher and stoner extraordinaire, convinced it was written last week. I didn't tell the person I was watching South Park with that I was wrong. Just call me Phil Collins. And I don't plan on telling them. Now let's see if he listens to the podcast.
Time for
the
Rocket Ride.
Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello! Did you have a good week? I sure hope so. I hope your week was as smooth as the Fugees singing Killing 'Em Softly. Bow, 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 bow. This is our first Rocky Rundown on camera. Isn't that cool? Our little Amish podcast is on a Rumspringa. No shade to the Amish. I don't think that is shady to the Amish. I think they're peaceful people, right? No plugs. I'm at the gym a couple of days ago, and I'm absolutely getting it, by the way. I was riding that elliptical like I was having an affair. Yo, motherfucking low. And I think I had all that energy because I've been drinking mushroom coffee. I won't say the brand because this is America, and I could make a buck if they decide to sponsor the podcast. But if you ask me in my DMs or in real life, I will tell you, I'm no mushroom gatekeeper. I'm for the people. So I'm mushroom bouncing on the elliptical like I'm trying to qualify, and I see this headline on the news that's on the TVs at the gym, and it says, fan says she was forced to watch sex acts at a Madonna concert. Now, I didn't research this story because I'm not the New York motherfucking Times. I'm not citing my sources. But I have my opinions. And that is why you are here, to hear my opinions. And if you're an OG member of the Party God Squad, then you know I already went to the Madonna concert this year. And I saw what I saw with mine own two eyes. Nah, that was me doing my own research. To the fan that said they were forced to watch sex acts at a Madonna concert. You were not forced to watch sex acts at a Madonna concert. Madonna's people didn't come in the crowd and peel your eyelids back and make you watch anything. Madonna's people didn't sit on your lap and say, sit still, you little bitch. Watch this faux penetration. Madonna's people weren't whispering in your ear while you were at the show and saying, you better keep those peepers open or you're going to be in big trouble. The woman sang like a virgin, for God's sakes. She was giving blowjobs to Jesus in the church in a music video in the 90s. She made out with the two biggest female pop stars of their time on live television. She did that before Sam Smith and Kim Petras decided to be the devils on national TV, okay? She's fucking Madonna. You know what you're signing up for if you go to a Madonna show. And honestly, I don't remember any sex penetration kind of stuff. I kind of was like, could there be more? Could we see a little dick somewhere? Madonna is a pioneer of sex in the music industry. Did you not know that when you got a ticket to her show? And I'm sorry, you don't go to an artist who sang like a virgin, by the way, and tell them how their show should look. You don't like what you're seeing, take the L. Leave. If your friends or whoever you're with want to stay, then you go hang out by the concessions and tweet under a troll account all your gripes and woes. People are dying, Kim. How is this news? But also much gratitude to that fan because what a wonderful rant for me to go on. That's material, baby. So again, gratitude to this confused individual who forgot they had free will for 3 hours. While we're on the subject of musicians, I want to talk a little bit about songs. Songs that have ultimate staying power. The first one is going to be No Doubt's I'm Just a Girl. Every lyric in the song I'm Just a Girl by No Doubt is still ringing true, but for some reason when I was listening to it the other day, they just clicked. For example, I'm just a girl, pretty and petite, so don't let me have any rights. 29 years later, our rights are getting rolled back one by one. Your rule of thumb makes me worrisome. Yeah, Gwen, it's 2024, and Bibi, we are still worried. Some. There are religious fanatics who think just because there weren't women at the Last Supper, that Jesus hates women or something. Jesus hates women, and so do I. Relax, Bucky. Did you ever think that women didn't want to be at the Last Supper dinner? Frankly, we were going to get talked over anyway. Did you ever think that maybe, just maybe, they were having a girls' night? What I've succumbed to is making me numb. Another lyric. Translation. Human beings are the only species where men kill their women. And by there, I just mean we're all humans, not in a property way. And what we have succumbed to is making women numb. We're scared to walk the streets. We're scared to walk to our cars. We're scared to say no to men. Help us live in a world where we're not scared anymore, fellas. If you're a big, strong man, act like one. And if you're a man listening to this podcast, I already know what a big, strong man you are. The second song is the song Regulate by Warren G, featuring Nate Dogg. R.I.P. I've been listening and bopping to the song Regulate for years, but I haven't really been listening. I haven't been invested in learning the lyrics. The other night, I was watching Warren G perform this song on John Mulaney's new Netflix special, Everybody's in LA. It was quite enjoyable. Like I said, I'm not a Regulate lyrics aficionado, but I really sat down and I really listened to the story that Warren G was trying to tell us. And if you haven't listened to the story of Regulate, well, I'm going to tell you the story of Regulate. It's timeless and it's not going anywhere. The story goes that Warren G is cruising round town. He's in the business of finding some women for the night. He's also on the lookout for his bestie Nate Dogg. When he turns the corner, he sees some fellas shooting dice. This looks like a great opportunity to join in on a dice game, right? Right? Wrong. As soon as he tried to join the dice game, they pulled out their gats. Gats. Okay, dramatic boys. He was stuck. There are sex workers watching this go down across the street. They can't help. He's getting robbed. I mean, they are taking everything from our boy Warren G. They robbed him so badly that he literally said, "What's next?" And this was in his own town, for Pete's sake. Can you imagine? It was in that moment he wished he could fly right out of this mess. But he couldn't, because this was a Warren G song, not a Nelly Furtado song. And then boom, here comes Nate Dogg to the rescue. And I quote, Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies cold. You get it, right? You get it? This is SoCal, and it ain't winter. Nate Dogg and Warren G were about to regulate. Now, after they regulate, there's a gaggle of women with car trouble. If I understand sexual innuendos correctly, and I think I understand sexual innuendos correctly, one of the women says, "My car's broke down and you seem real nice. Would you let me ride?" Let me ride? Yeah, girl, he's gonna let you ride. This was their whole objective since the beginning of the song. So they all head to the East Side Hotel. Looks like this night really turned around, which is all we could ask for our boys. This is what they wanted the whole time. It's a happy ending, and I'm happy for the regulators. If I could give a word of warning, don't be a busta, because the 213 will regulate. And if you smoke like they smoke, then it's time for Rocky's highest thoughts. My most stoned thoughts of the week. Number 1, if you know better, but you don't do better, good luck living in this hamster wheel mess that is your life. Number 2, it's rumored that people are going to start living to 140. What are we gonna do till we're 140, you guys? Oh my God, that is like so much time if you think about it. Unless you're 139 right now. Number 3, can we all just collectively agree to write Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on our ballots in November? At least we know the man is in shape. He's physically up for the job. And number 4, my next boyfriend better know and like rolling joints, because I'm tired. I am tired of rolling these joints. I'll tell you that much. I am tired of rolling these joints myself. This week is a very exciting because I am welcoming back, dun 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 dun, a guest. My guest this week is writer and podcast host Laurent Sterk. Laurent hosts the podcast Under the Apron, which I had the pleasure of being a guest on just a few months ago. So if you want to give your ears a little tickle when this episode is over, go over and listen to his podcast. His show's also full of wild stories, which is why we love it, baby. His wild word was stranded. And a word to the wise. If you're stranded right now, just lean back, turn your headphones up and enjoy the ride, because you won't be stranded forever. I can't guarantee that, but I don't think you'll be stranded forever. If you haven't done so, please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. If you want to watch me on YouTube, please subscribe. That's the point of YouTube. A big thank you and a future thank you to everyone who's written or who's going to write a review on Apple Podcasts when this episode is over. It really does make a difference. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Laurent Sterk. Laurent, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Thank you for having me, Rocky.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Actually, this is a big first.
It's a big day for you, for us, for America.
I put you to work.
Mm-hmm.
I put you to work.
Yes, you did.
But it's all for the greater good of being on camera.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for the greater good of America to get this show on the video.
So you're really like America first.
I'm Rocky first, and I think that this country could use a leader like you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Not only is this your first on video podcast, but it's the first time that I'm guesting on somebody else's. So I was like,
wait, I was going to ask that. I thought it might be.
It is.
That's so exciting.
It's exciting, and I was getting a little bit of like the nerves beforehand, which is which doesn't happen all that often, which is a good thing. I'm happy it's fun to be nervous. So listen, all good. This is great. I'm very happy. Truly an honor to be the first person here with you doing this. So this is great, and I'm glad we figured it out. It took some time.
I haven't had a guest in a while. I don't think I've had a guest in like 15 or 20 episodes.
Really?
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. How are you feeling? Are you excited to be on camera?
I'm really feeling good.
Good.
I really am feeling good.
That's awesome.
This is very exciting. I'm really excited to hear your Wild Night story because, we know each other. We don't know each other that well.
We don't know each other that well. I just learned something about you off camera a second ago.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this, though. You're a wild boy.
Okay. Good to know.
In the outskirts, in the years that I've known you in the periphery, you're a wild boy.
Oh, for sure. 100%. I think I've started to reform a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For the better. But wild child for the past maybe 20 years.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
You're in good company. I'm a wild child too.
There we go.
I don't know how reformed I am, but
we'll find out.
On
today's episode of Wild Nights with Rocky Bout.
And we're going to jump right into your story, but before we do, I just want to say one last time, thank you for not leaving me stranded.
Okay.
Laurent's wild word was stranded. So Laurent's going to take us into his Wild Night story. I'm going to see if I'm wowed. I think I will be.
Okay. We'll find out.
And let's go, Laurent.
Sure. I brought some notes.
Oh, okay, perfect. A prepared king.
Yes, I came prepared. First note: don't bring up Palestine.
Okay. Second note. Do bring up Palestine. He's so conflicted.
Shit, you brought up Palestine. Second note: thanks, Manscaped.
My this guy.
Okay, so this story is about Rocky and I. We hung out a couple weeks ago. No, that's a joke. Well, so the night that I'm going to tell you about is about the New Year's Eve of 2021.
Okay.
But it needs some context in order to arrive at the point. So for those of you who don't remember, 2020, we had a pandemic. Bad times. Was it real? Was it fake? How much does it have to do with Hunter Biden's laptop? We don't know yet. But maybe one day we'll find out. So I had a wild pandemic. I stayed in the city. Were you in the city?
I was the whole time.
Yeah, crazy times. If you weren't here, you just don't know, man. But and the whole time that the city was shut down, I was delivering weed.
Okay.
Which was great because it was the only way I could make money because I was bartending. Otherwise, all the bars were shut down. I had no source of income. And I was working for a weed service. And so I'm biking around New York City, empty streets, empty Times Square, fucking like 2 p.m. I was one time was in Grand Central, the only person riding subways by myself, like a ghost town.
I just want to ask this. So you did this in 2020. What point in 2020 did you start the delivery?
So I had been doing it prior, but
Okay.
I had just started. Maybe I actually, I don't remember the time frame exactly, but I was definitely already working for the Serve.
So it was like March 2020, April 2020 that you were doing this, or later in the year?
It was throughout all of 2020.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So including all the way through the shutdown, and again, like immediately lost all the bartending jobs.
Yeah.
So that was the only source of income, and so I'm biking through the streets with a bunch of weed on me. I'm delivering to people who have not left their apartments in months. Some of them are literally coming to the door in like full hazmat suits, and they're like, "What's it like outside?" I mean, it was pretty fucking nuts. And then, the only people who were on the streets were like homeless people who were like playing like vagrant Monopoly and just starting like, crazy. And then on top of that, my buddy had, I don't know if it was because he knew that the pandemic was coming or not, had bought a kilo of like pure cocaine.
Okay.
Like a month before this all went down.
So he was prepared to have it.
That was his preparation.
Okay.
That was his COVID preparation.
He wasn't trying to sell it. He was trying to
not at all.
it.
He wanted it, and I if I remember correctly, it had nothing to do with the pandemic that he got it. It just happened to be perfect timing.
Okay.
So I am spending my days biking through the city, delivering weed in this like post-apocalyptic world. And then at night, I'd go hang out with him because he was like the only person who was willing to hang out. Everybody else was very in their house, but I couldn't do that because I have pretty bad depression, and like that would have thrown me the fuck off. So I'm raging at night with him, doing blow all night, waking up, or sometimes on no sleep, getting back out there, delivering weed, and also like fast forward a little bit, had maybe like the best year of just casual hookups.
Yeah.
I think everybody was just like, fuck it, man, it's COVID. Like everybody felt suffocated by everything and just wanted to have fun. So I'm like waking up in random beds. I don't know where I am. I got to get up and go deliver weed to people who are stuck in their apartments. Just crazy fucking time. And then also when the bars started opening up, I started bartending at this place, and it's still like just after shutdown. If you remember, like New York is still pretty much dead. But we started doing an after hours there because the cops didn't care. Nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
So like people are coming, we're partying until 7, 8 in the morning. So it was this like weird, fucked up world. I grew up in New York City my whole life. So like I'm sure it was strange for anybody to see what the city was like, but for it to be your hometown, none of us knew what the fuck was coming next. You didn't know if the world was ever going to be the same again. And I think I was just like acting out, but it was fun and it was crazy. And funny story before I get into the actual story, I was bartending at this place during COVID, and I come home, I'm blackout drunk. All I remember is falling asleep to porn. Don't remember what happened, if I even did anything with that. Whatever. I wake up, porn's still on my laptop, and I'm late for work. I'm hungover, so I just run out of bed. I jump up, I grab the first mask I find like on my floor, and I start running to work. And it took me like 2 or 3 blocks, and I was like, man, my mask is kind of wet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this mask kind of smells weird. And it turned out that I guess I had used the mask for cleanup the night before, and I was wearing it on my face.
So you would admit that people are just crazy when they're blacked out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for the Patreon. But yeah, so walked to work with my own semen on my face during COVID. But
you have a little something right here now.
Yeah, see. Here's the thing that I found out about that is my skin looks so good the next day that now I come on my face maybe once a week.
I'll have to try it.
Yeah, do I look good?
You look good.
The pores are closed.
Other than the cum on your beard.
It's not okay. Well, you take the bad with the good. But yeah, so all to say, like, fucking just nuts. Also, another story about that, like the most memorable moment of all these weird interactions while like the city was shut down and I'm delivering weed was that there was this woman, and she comes to the door and she's like very secretive, and she tells me that she's been in her apartment for 2 months straight. They haven't left, with her and a 16-year-old kid and a 14-year-old kid.
Yikes.
And so Just imagine that.
That sounds
alone.
like hell, yeah.
Being the teenager or the mother.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like, so, but she's buying weed, but she's hiding it from her kids, which is fucking hilarious. Cause it's like, when I was 16, I was hiding smoking weed from my mom. So I'm like, your kids are probably doing the same shit upstairs right now. Just such bizarre shit. But anyway, okay. So fast forward now, we're at the end of 2020. It's been just, an exhausting emotional year between the shutdown and, all the protests and then the election. Yeah. It's just like, it's rough. Fucking rough. And then if you remember, as the winter's coming, they're like, there's going to be another pandemic. Like, and the
ambulance, it was constant ambulance. Like, I don't know if people understand how... my street is already loud as it is, and it's right by the highway, so there are so many ambulances on a regular basis. Like, during COVID, people don't get it. No, truly. Like, and I used to get so fucking angry, because, if you, again, we all remember, thanks a lot, Hunter Biden, but... Every time. But, no, like, it pissed me off when you would see people either online or on the news who were, like, downplaying the whole thing. Yeah. And it wasn't until I left the city and went to like more rural areas that I started to understand, like, oh, it's not the same for you guys. Yeah. It's just not the same world. You can go outside, you have a backyard, and you're not in this place that's overpopulated. Yeah. Truly, like, you heard ambulances all day and all night, every fucking day. I was scared for my life. Yeah. I remember being like, Laurent, you're going to have to tell yourself, like, you may not make it through this. Whoa. Like, I was like, I mean, this is early days. Like, nobody knew what the fuck was going on. There were videos from Italy where, like, people were just dying in the middle of, like, hospital hallways and shit. Yeah, that's true. It looked terrifying. It looked like potentially the end of the world. So, that hyper chamber of being in New York, which was, like, America's ground zero for that shit, it was just a really scary time. So scary, also acting out emotionally, taking a bunch of drugs, sleeping with whoever as like just a way of maybe trying to deal with it. I guess I didn't realize how much I was coping at the time. Now when I look back on it, very obvious that was the case. But every New Year, I have a very tight-knit group of friends, and 4 of us were like the main group would go somewhere where we could ski for a couple days, and then that had like a decent city nearby so that we could spend New Year's at the city. So for instance, the year before, if I remember correctly, we went to Whistler, which is in Canada. Amazing mountain. If you ski, you should go. And then we drove down to Vancouver for New Year's. Perfect. Right? So now fast forward to 2021, the pandemic is back supposedly, or the shutdowns or whatever. So we can't fly. We can't go anywhere. So we decide to rent an RV. Nice. And 5 of us drive from New York City to Denver. Okay. Which is a 2-day trip in this RV. And in order to, like, still be able to have something close to what we were used to doing. And also just because we all fucking needed it. We needed to get out of New York. We needed to have an excuse to go have some fun. So we take this trip. I don't know, have you ever ridden in an RV with a bunch of friends? Not with a bunch of friends, no. Okay. Yeah. No. Oh, well, it sounds awesome. And I think we actually talked about doing it during the pandemic, but we didn't. Fair enough. They said you got the last one. Yeah, we did. They told us that too. But so it was fun, but like it's a small fucking space. Yeah. It's pretty claustrophobic. We're with friends who we love, so we're making it work, but we're on top of each other. There's a dog there too. Like it was a lot. Mm-hmm. So along the way, we're getting fucked up constantly. I had not been to a lot of the states that we were passing through. I'd never been to Illinois. I'd never been to Kansas. So every time we crossed into a state that I hadn't been to, I took a bump of cocaine. And then, very fun. And then otherwise, like, you got nothing to do but get fucked up. So we're playing drinking games. We're doing all this stuff. We're like pulling into rural parking lots with like, OK Brandon or whatever, the like right wing bumper stickers everywhere. Yeah. And I'm running out in like gold sequence pants, like drunk off my mind, and like racing my friends around the RV and projectile vomiting and then leaving. And so a lot of that was going on. The RV breaks down at some point, and we don't know what's going on.
We think it's that we don't have gas. This guy comes and picks us up. This is in rural Illinois. Picks me up, drives me to his home.
Just you?
Just me, because we just needed one person to go. Drives me to his home, takes his own gas, puts it in the back, drives all the way back, fills up the gas tank.
Yeah.
Then it turns out that that's not even what's going on. He sticks around. He helps us figure it out. Really nice guy.
An
angel.
Yeah.
Who had a giant sign in his front yard that said, Jesus is my Lord, Trump is my president.
Awesome.
So that was a moment of being like, okay, you know what? Like, I can't, like, you're a wonderful human being.
And I think at that point, Trump hadn't won. He lost, right? In
he had
2020?
lost.
Or
Yeah.
was that 2020? Yeah,
no, it was 2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had lost. So that guy probably had tickets for January 6th. But really, really nice guy who helped us out. We had a lot of those moments of, like, because it was such a fucking politically charged moment between Black Lives Matter and all these things that were going on, that I mean, I don't think I've ever felt more animosity towards that side of America. Right. And then it was almost, it was poetic to have, like, this person come and out of just the goodness of his heart come and help us out. Despite our differences. So that was a beautiful moment. But key point is that the RV was broken down. So anyway, we continue on. We make it to Denver. We go skiing. We're pretty exhausted. So it's like it doesn't have the same pop as usual. We're beaten down by the trip. We're beaten down by the fact that the RV broke down. People are, the
tensions are high.
Vibes are meh.
Okay.
As opposed to, like, usually we're like
meh.
They're meh.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with all this stuff, and the plan is now that we've, like, hung out, we've gone skiing, we've done all this stuff. It's New Year's Eve, right? We're gonna go fucking. The plan is to drive the RV to the top of, like, a beautiful mountain, or like a scenic mountain, and just park it and go out. We're gonna take acid, and we're gonna just, like, have fun outdoors, like, have the RV as, like a home base, and just explore and whatever. Everybody's down. We're ready. Like, it's been kind of like an up and down trip, so we're ready to have, like, a great night. We get to the top of this fucking mountain. It's like 8 o'clock at night. It's already, like, negative 10 degrees outside.
Great.
And the RV breaks down again. And we can't fucking figure it out. We're trying everything. The guys who I'm with are both, like, car guy, motorcycle guys. I'm not that at all, so I'm not even pretending to try.
Yeah.
But they are both truly, like, know what they're doing. They can't fucking figure it out. The girls that we're with are now, like, really starting to, like, lose morale. Like, they're pissed. Like, they're understandably so. Although
it's just not fun. It's not what you guys
It wasn't
envisioned.
fun.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Also, though, like, be a fucking cheerleader. It's like that's what I was doing. I was like, it's okay, guys. Come on, we'll figure it out. Even though deep down I was a little scared. And every New Year's has sort of gone like this for us, where we go out, we're seeking adventure, and for at least a short amount of time, if not longer, we're like, fuck. It doesn't seem like we're going to be able to reach this thing that we had hoped to.
Yeah.
And every time somehow something magical happens, right?
Okay.
And so it's like, believe in the spirit of New Year's. Like, we got this. Like, and I kept saying that, but, like, eventually, it's cold as shit. We don't have any heat anymore. Like, things are not looking good.
And you're broken down.
And we're broken down. I think that we could, like, drive. I think that, like, the RV actually had the ability to drive, because from what I remember, they were like, let's just go to a hotel. Let's call it. Yeah. It is what it is. We'll go get fucked up in a hotel. We can even take acid in a hotel if we want to.
The dream.
Whatever. The dream. Everybody's dream. But the guy, like, the three of us were like, no, man, we're going to figure this out. We're going to make it work. And it's getting worse and worse. So, okay. First thing that happens is I don't give a fuck. Like, I believe that this is going to work out. I'm taking the acid. I'm taking a risk, because if I take the acid and things don't change, we're dealing with, like, a lot of bullshit that you don't want to be dealing with when you're on acid, including, like, bad morale, right? Yeah. So, but I was like, I'm believing in this moment. So I take the acid. I start coming up. We still haven't figured out the fucking RV. The girls are fucking miserable. Yeah. And now I'm stuck in a small space with 4 people who are not happy. So
and none of them are on acid.
None of them are on acid. Nobody else was willing to take.
This is a solo journey.
This is a solo journey now. I'm on my own. None of them wanted to take the risk. So I get that. I'm trying to manifest it through my drug use.
Okay.
Yeah. Now I'm like, I need to get the fuck away from you guys. Mm-hmm. I'm in a full body, like a dinosaur onesie, right? I just start trekking outside. Snow is 3 feet up, -10 degrees. I'm bundled up. I'm good. So I'm just taking a walk around, and at some point, as I'm like just tripping through the snow, I have to poop.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like, fuck it. You're on the top of a mountain. It's snow. Like you're on acid. You're human. Mm-hmm. So I pop a squat, but I'm like, I have this onesie, so I got to make sure that I don't get poop in the onesie.
Of course.
Okay. So I'm like very aware of this whole situation. And as I'm pooping, I hear ah! So I jump up, pee all over my onesie.
Great.
Of course. No poop though. I got that. And then I run over. They had found some button, and they press the button. Everything's working now.
Oh my god.
So beautiful. The spirit of New Year's has found us. Euphoria.
Yes.
Everybody starts dropping acid.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, it's just we're going bonkers, right? Mm-hmm. We're just having a blast. Girls are doing cocaine off of each other's asses, like naked asses. We were playing drinking games where we had to, like, if you lost, you had to run outside in -10 degrees and put your bare ass in the snow. Just stupid shit, just having fun. Then we all forage out into the woods for a bit, and we're tripping. We're having fun. Mm-hmm. It's like equal parts just ridiculousness, and then also moments of like, hey, this is beautiful. We've been through a lot this year. There really was like a sort of like universal trauma thing where we're like, there's a reason why we came here.
We needed a release,
yeah, we needed this together and like to whatever. The funniest thing to me that happened during that whole period of time, or throughout this whole trip, the most memorable thing is that my friend, at some point while we're out in the snow, pitch black, 3 feet of snow, loses his phone. Okay? So now we're like, what the fuck do we do? Yeah. Right? So he's running around on acid trying to find his phone. And my buddy's like 30 yards away and he goes, dude, I think I found it. So he runs over and he looks down and he picks it up. And my friend had taken a shit in the snow. And my buddy was so high that he thought the shit was actually his phone, and he picked it up with his bare hand.
It wasn't yours?
It wasn't my shit. It was my friend had intentionally betrayed him. And so he literally picked it up and stared at it for a second. His friend's poop. I'm sorry to the listeners.
No.
But that was the funniest fucking thing. To this day, I mean, also on acid, like, the funniest thing I've ever fucking seen. Insane. And what was crazier, and I think it was the drugs.
Yeah.
Is that it's not like, first of all, you look down, it's a piece of shit. A piece of shit looks nothing like a phone. I don't know if you guys have seen shit and phones out there. They're not very similar. Not yet.
They're different.
This could be a good thing for Apple to try next. But as of yet, they don't look like poop. So why did you pick it up, sir? And then also, once you picked it up, the other thing about poops and phones that aren't the same, they don't feel the same.
I would imagine they feel different.
They feel different. Oh, have you never? Okay. So I can tell you, they feel different.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a full 3 seconds of like picking it up, looking at it, and being like, this isn't my phone.
Oh my God.
Insane. So we're crying laughing.
Of course.
Run back to the RV. I run back to tell them, and one of my female friends like is outside of the RV, and I'm like, yo, and she turns around and projectile vomits.
Oh my God, because of this?
No, just because they're having their own fun in the RV.
Yeah.
So it's just like this crazy fucking night. After a lot of tension throughout the entire year, and then also tension in terms of this specific trip, and tension in terms of the night. It's just this release, and the end of it, which is really beautiful, and I'll never forget, is that we get to the actual countdown for New Year's, and we kind of somber up a little bit, and we're like, hey guys, we came here for a reason. It's been a fucking rough year. We still don't even know if the world's really going to come back, whatever. Yeah. So we all had a sparkler. And it's like, everybody go find your own space. And, we'll light our sparklers, but just take your time. Think about what you've been through. Take as much time as you need. And then we'll come back to each other when we need to. And it was such a beautiful, like, it felt a little forced in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, it felt a little like kumbaya. But as I'm sitting there and really, like, absorbing, or trying to anyway, start to, like, you know, deal with just how crazy that year was on my own in this beautiful space, I just remember, like, feeling, having like a real moment. And I don't know how long I was out there, and we, you know, watched the sport. So I'm watching the sparkler sparkle onto this, like, beautiful snow in the middle of the woods, and, like, feeling very grateful for being alive, for having my friends for being able to go on a trip like this. And then at the end of that, somebody started, I can't remember who it was, just, like, let out this, like, guttural scream.
Okay.
And then just all of us in our you know, spaces just started screaming, and, like, together, like, we just started screaming together, and, like, really just trying to let it the fuck out.
Yeah.
And we did, and we were all it was this beautiful moment where we kind of came back together, just screaming at the top of our lungs. And then we tripped on the top of a mountain for the rest of the night, and that was it. That was my wild night.
That is wild indeed.
Thank you.
That was really crazy, and it wasn't even a wild night. It was like a whole wild journey.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But so unforgettable.
100%. Yeah.
That is, first of all, it's really special to have friends like that. I have a really close friend group too. And to have those moments where you can just say, yeah, this is like a kumbaya thing we're doing. This is like, we're being a little sentimental. But that is, I think, how you get to the next level of friendship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to unlock those layers. And just for everybody to be game, and even after, you know, people were upset and tripping and stuff, for everybody to be game and just kind of, like, take the moment to say, like, this is important for all of us to do.
100%.
Like, let's walk away and take this in. That is, you know, I think a lot of people shit on drugs because, you know, some drugs can be really bad, of course.
Some people shit on their phones.
Some people shit on their phones, mistake their phones for shit. But I think there's a lot to be said about having really bonding moments with people when you're on drugs. I've never done acid.
You should.
The night is young.
Yeah, we can do it tonight.
But I've never done acid, but I've done mushrooms and Molly with people, and it's like the same people, and you just get so close to them that it becomes familial. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I would say personally, like, I'm not a religious person. I'm not necessarily a spiritual person. The closest thing that I've ever had to moments that feel like I'm connected to something that I don't understand that's larger than myself have been on mushrooms and have been on LSD.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just drugs doing drugs, but I have come out of those either feeling like I worked through something that I really needed to work through, or realized something really important that I needed to, like, that I've pursued. Like, I moved from New York City to Washington, D.C. I quit my job and I moved to D.C. and started a path that has, like, led me to where I am now, based off of a mushroom trip. So I definitely, I always say to anybody, you know, I understand why it's scary. There's a lot of misinformation out there.
Rumors, too.
But I believe that, you know, at least once in your life, you should try mushrooms and you should try acid. You should try acid. You would love it. It's great. It's fantastic.
It's a long day, right?
It's a long day.
It's a long day.
It's an Airbnb.
It's an Airbnb.
yeah, for sure. I have a question for you.
Please ask.
Okay. So, you were talking about your group of friends, right? And the idea that, like, the ability to have, you know, in-depth conversations and be there when the moment calls for it, to, like, really be able to open up and all that stuff, and how important that is. I've thought about this a lot. Do you know what are the things that lead to the type of person that you care to, like, keep as a close friend? Because if you look at my roster of friends, to the naked eye, there's not a whole lot that like they all have in common, right? Okay. And so, like, I took some time, I think right around the time of this story, because I was just, like, fascinated by, like, why the fuck do I love all these people who are so different? They have different jobs, different personalities, etc. And I have my theories for, like, what it is, the important things to me. That it's not like I chose them consciously. It's clearly this is what matters to me, because this is what all of these people have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you know what that is for you?
I think that's a great question.
Thank you.
I had to lose the shades for it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say time is a huge factor. A lot of my best friends that I'm friends with now, either we went to college together or we stem from a college relationship, friendship adjacent, or having gone to the same school just maybe a few years apart and everybody being connected there. But I think as you get older, things happen in life and you watch people go through hardships. You watch people go through breakups and moving and not having money or relatives passing away, all these things.
Yeah.
And in the moments when those things happen, and fun, right? So you can have as much fun as you want. Eventually life's going to get real. Yeah. And I like to live in the fun zone at all times. I like to live high vibe. We're chilling. I would have probably been dropping that acid with you when the car was going down. Like, it would have been all positive vibes. Yeah. But as much as you cultivate a positive life, bad things or unwelcome things, I should say, inconvenient things that aren't as much fun, they're going to happen. So when those things happen, the people that you're having all your fun with on the off days, when they show up, it's like...
Dude, 100%.
It's great. And it feels good to show up in return, too. You know what I mean? It's like this... We are choosing to be each other's friends. Yeah. And I remember one time, actually, it was a Molly trip. A bunch of us, we would, like, get in this big pile. Every time we would do Molly, we would call it the dog pile. But one of my best girlfriend, she said something and she was like, this is it, like, this is the group. And even though we were like rolling and everything, I always remember her saying that, and she's like, this is it, this is the group. And I was like, yeah, this is it, this is a group. And of course people are going to come in and out, and people are going to date different people, or some people are going to fall off. It happens. But so far no one has fallen off, and like it's just been like people adding to the group.
That's beautiful, man.
So that's my answer.
First of all, what you just said about like, so I just went through a breakup, right? I'm single, ladies and boys. But rough couple of months. Yeah. And me and my ex share most friends. Like the majority of our group of friends is like a shared group at this point. So I get it, and this is no shade if you're listening and you didn't reach out. Just, I'm not talking about you. I might be talking about you.
He's talking about you.
But, so it's when push comes to shove, that is one thing that I do think is important out of a group, out of friends, is like, yes, I think number one, sounds like for both of us, is that like, dude, life is monotonous. Yeah. And most people are fucking boring. And
most people are boring
or just annoying or whatever. Like, I'm getting older. I'm turning into fucking Larry David. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Fuck off. So if you're fun and you're funny and you can be interesting and you can keep the fucking ball afloat and we can get goofy with it, that's number one. Yeah. And if you don't have that, we're probably not going to be all that close. Yeah. But you could have that in spades. Mm-hmm. There's also like, when shit gets real, are you going to show up? Yeah. Are you going to be able to open up when you're going through something? Or are you just going to pretend like nothing's happening? Yeah. Are you able to recognize when you're fucking up and like take responsibility when you've made a mistake? All of those things are important. And also like, the ability to default setting, be a fun, interesting person, but also be willing to have honest and open conversation, be there for people. And, like I said, I've been going through a breakup. It's been a rough 2 months. I'm starting to come out of it. I'm starting to feel better. But I felt a little bit like, where the fuck are my friends, man? Like where, because if it's me and my friend is going through that, this has happened. Like, I will show up at your fucking doorstep and knock your door down in order to like make sure that you're okay. And I didn't feel like that was the case as much. And so it's, there's a lot of different things that go into it. But yeah.
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sorry that you're going through a breakup. It's a bummer. Or that, you're in the...
Yeah. No, it is a bummer. It sucks. But it's also, it's life, man. Like,
it is, yeah. It's part of it.
You put one foot in front of the other and we'll figure it out. Look at this, though. Look how beautiful. Like, did I go through a breakup? Yes. Does that suck? Yes. Did my friend show up? But Was I able to come to Rocky Powell's friend's apartment and help her to put together her first live in-person video interview? Yes, I was. It's a beautiful day.
You were really helpful.
Let's take some fucking acid tonight.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
I just have to be up at 5:30 in the morning. It's no big deal.
Fine.
Laurent, I'm happy that you said the thing about being goofy because I've listened to a couple episodes of your podcast, a few of them, and you are goofy.
Yeah, no shit.
You're a silly goose. You're really a silly goose.
Yeah.
You were doing some improv on there, and
God.
I was like, this guy knows a little bit about improv.
Thank you so much.
You do? Oh, now he's hiding. He's going back into, we're out of our serious mode.
Yeah, let's go.
This is a comedy podcast, but I do like to get real.
Okay. See, this is what we're talking about. You. This is all the shades, 50 Shades of Rocky.
50 Shades of Rocky. Literally.
Hey. You should start a shade collection.
I have one already.
Do
you mean like a legitimate sell sunglasses?
50 Shades of Rocky.
50 Shades of Rocky. Now you're gonna want 10%, and I'll give it to you.
Sexually with that.
Oh, Laurent. You're goofy, and I think it's fun that you're goofy because I don't think enough people are goofy, and some people, when you're naturally goofy and when you're like silly, you're automatically funny.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
If you're holding that back and you're like suppressing that, but you want to be a silly person, my advice to those listening is just be silly. Like, lean into the silly.
I agree. I think that this is, I only have ever lived in this space. So I don't.
You mean your body?
My own body.
Okay.
So far, it's only been in here. But.
Seems like you're really trying to sell that.
I've never have I been in anybody else's body. No, but all to say, like, to me, it seems insane that we're not all that doesn't come with like the computer. We all have silliness. I think life can beat it out of you sometimes.
Yes, of course.
And I think that a lot of people are just afraid to be that version of themselves for fear of what other people think of them.
Right.
And I will say that I was an extremely insecure person through all of my childhood, even into early adulthood. And so I was always afraid of being that version of myself or being myself at all, and I think the more that I felt comfortable with myself and started to just trust myself and be myself, the happier I was, the goofier I was, and also, authenticity wins out. So
every time.
All to say, like, if you're out there and you feel like you struggle to be yourself, yeah, she's right. Go be goofy. Go fucking get silly with it, girl.
And you never know who's looking to let their goofiness out. And by you being yourself and like being silly, you're giving someone else permission you're reminding them that it's safe to be that way.
100%. Also, I will say this. I don't know what your demographic is, but
it's varietal.
Truckers. So
I wish we need more truckers.
Listen,
listening.
truckers. Same thing that I was saying about friends, where like I can't really fucking tell exactly what it is, and then you do the analytics. But if you were to see all of the women that I have dated and had serious relationships with, or even that I've been like interested in, again, same thing. There doesn't seem to be much of a type. There's not a whole lot that draws them all together. But one of the things that I have realized, like, are you an ass guy or are you a tits guy? I'm a silly guy. Yeah. I'm like, if you have personality and you're fun and you're goofy, like, that's so fucking hot to me. Yeah. Like, truly, even if you're not the most conventionally attractive woman, the second that I see somebody who's comfortable being themselves and being a goofball, like, not only does that make me want to be friends with you, but potentially maybe... whatever. So.
What if I told you all the girls that you're talking about are coming out right now?
Hey! I forgot about her.
Yeah, we're on camera. You're reacting like we're not.
Oh, no.
That's interesting. Yeah, personality always has to win, but sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're just like, oh, I got stuck with this person who's like, fits the bill for a couple months.
Yeah, well, I mean, it can go either way. It's who the fuck knows? But like, I'm sure you've met some guys who have fantastic personalities and who are just like, you're not attracted to them at all physically. Yeah. And so like the being great and having a great personality does a lot, but it doesn't do everything.
It doesn't do everything. And sometimes what I find is if I'm going out on dates, it can be a little mechanical.
Yeah. I fucking hate it.
It can be a little mechanical.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I am of the first of all, I bartend. I have a podcast about bartending. We'll talk about that.
We're gonna talk.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. But so I'm always privy to. I mean, I just worked a fucking shift where I'm hearing two people have a first date. It's all the fucking time.
Yeah.
And they are all so awkward.
Yeah.
And it makes my fucking skin crawl. And
Sticky.
Same thing for me. So circling back to the idea of like being goofy, to me, goofy is hot. The idea that like you can be scared out of that type of stuff because people make you feel weird about it. I went from one side of the spectrum of being really, really insecure to eventually probably being too confident in myself, not in like a shitty way, but in the sense that like I'm very comfortable being myself. And so I have, as a matter of fact, the girl who was in the RV with me for that whole trip in Colorado, we went on a date way before any of this, right? So I actually got some feedback from a person because we eventually became friends a year later.
Yeah.
And she gave me feedback, and she was like, "Yeah, you just like you were too like goofy or too like whatever." And I'm like, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm not changing shit.
Yeah.
Like I am who the fuck I am. I'd rather be, so. All to say, if you act that way, you might lose some people along the way who are put off by that. Fuck them. Like I'd rather be myself, and the person who's like, I vibe with this guy because he's goofy and he's having fun. That those are people who you're gonna have an actual relationship with. But also, like, I don't want to sit down with you. I'm single now, right? I'm just opening my door up for like to peek out my window and see what might be out there.
Because you gotta open the door to peek out the window.
You gotta open the door to peek out the window. The idea of sitting of actual traditional dates is so appalling to me. The like we're gonna sit down and we're gonna get to know each other. Fuck that shit, man. Like let's go to a show. Let's go do something active, or I don't know, but like and also the idea of like no offense to women out there, but men are better. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think whoever you are in New York City specifically, being single, looking out at like what's available is a scary, not enticing universe.
It's very horrifying.
Yeah.
One thing that will happen to me a lot on dates with guys is they'll be like, "Oh, you're funny," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, no, I'm probably naturally funny anyway, but I've been doing comedy for 13 years. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna be funny."
I'm Jewish.
Oh, you are?
No, I thought you're not?
No.
So how'd you get the funny?
I had a little Jew in me.
Hey!
That was pretty good.
Thanks.
No, I meant mine.
No, thanks to you.
Yeah, no, they'll say like, "Oh, yeah, you're funny," and it's like I didn't need you to say that, and also I didn't need you to act surprised.
I hate it.
I
hate it.
So it's annoying.
It's all annoying. Me, I feel like I'm going through like when you buy clothes that are imperfect at like TJ Maxx. I feel like I'm in like an imperfect aisle, being like, well, I mean, it doesn't look good here, but I mean, it could cover my whole body. Like,
yeah, I could wear it later.
I could wear it later. The whole idea of being single is terrible already, and then on top of it, to have to sit down in these like sterile environments.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, dude, especially for people such as yourself and such as myself, ourselves, and they selves,
yes.
Who are willing, who are fun and goofy. They're hard to find, few and far between, but when you find them, and so I feel pretty comfortable that that'll eventually happen. But if you're out there and you are fucking feeling a little rigid, just ease the fuck up, buddy. Like, use a new condom. Don't force strawberries down people's throats. Take some acid. Let's chill out.
Laurent, I could really talk to you forever.
Beautiful.
I could talk to you forever, but you want to tell everybody a little bit about your podcast?
Yeah, sure. Rocky was nice enough to come and do my podcast.
It was so much fun.
We had a great time. She was a great episode. You should definitely listen to that if you do want to come and check it out. It's called Under the Apron. It's about the service industry. So it's basically every time we have a bartender or a server or a chef or whomever come in and just like tell war stories, talk about what it's like from behind the scenes. Because as you know, Rocky, and if anybody's listening who works in the service industry or has ever worked in the service industry, you know how crazy it is behind the scenes. And you also know that it's a group of like really interesting, ambitious, fun, smart, like crazy people who usually have substance abuse problems and are all having sex with each other and are going through this like shared life experience of being humbled on a daily basis by the things that happen while you're working in a restaurant. So, and haven't been many platforms that I've found where that voice is celebrated and given, any sort of air to breathe. So we wanted to do that, and it's been a fun time. So come check us out, Under the Apron. This has been a pleasure. Thank you for having me. This is my first time guesting, so it's beautiful, and yeah, I'll help you whenever you need help.
You're the best, Laurent. Thank you so much, and thank you for doing the show. You're welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
Bye.